when we're looking at the stabilization phase with people, we can look at things along the lines of the debrief, very important, talking about ego strength work, whichever approach you like to use, and within ego state therapy, within EMDR as well, if you've done that, there are ego strengthening ways of working using those techniques to build up a sense of self. Work on negative beliefs and being able to start to challenge those, whichever way you would normally work with beliefs. Bring in solution-focused therapy at that point as well, because the answers to the miracle question and bridging questions and things like that can then give valuable work either in the stabilization phase, but certainly later on in the maintenance phase of working with somebody. If depression is there, we need to do the work built around coping with the depression, trying to help alleviate the depression or raise the mood. And stress manage as well. Stress is something that will then feed, stress and depression will then feed back into the beliefs and lack of coping and so on. With the trauma work, that's a whole host of things we can do. Standard dissociation work, working with the traumatized parts, the ego state work, which we will, talking about with this particular course. You bring in the EMDR if you know how to use EMDR potentially as well. And also, this is where analysis or regression may come in as part of the insight gaining and empowerment element that starts to change the way they're holding on to the trauma in their mind. And very much assertiveness training. That one can kind of bridge as well into stabilization and also in the maintenance. Assertiveness is a nice thing that can go all the way through, but it depends. It's got to be very specific. In stabilization, it's about asking and helping for need, getting your wants met, your needs met. With the trauma work, it might be a little bit more about focusing on yourself and being more assertive with the way in which you're responding to the traumatic material. And then in the maintenance of the phase, the assertiveness then goes into that in order to push you forward into a better future and to help you avoid connecting with people who you perceive are going to be bad for you. So that's where desensitization work comes in. Desensitization can occur in the stabilization phase if you feel it's important, but certainly after the trauma work is completed, just be aware of conditioned responses, and that's when this should come in. Look at bringing in more focus on solution-focused and goal work, because you really are looking at the future. And that's what, solution-focused therapy looks towards, building up the positives in the future, goal-directed work, setting goals, working towards those goals, and that future projection, the hallucinated or imagined time in the future when things are a lot better. And again, you've got the elements from solution-focused therapy with a miracle question that you might have asked here or certainly here that can build on that. And then here is where I would be dealing with any hang-on specific satellite symptoms as well, because with a lot of the symptoms, you can't deal with them. You can't, unless you've dealt with the trauma, you're not going to be able to work with, you might you might work on OCD, change the OCD, but because you haven't got to the core of it with the trauma work, it might turn into an eating disorder or a self-harm issue or something like that, because the emotion is still in there.